Absolutely. And we've seen what's taking place as far as US and Iran is concerned, but tensions, Major Shah, are still high in southern Lebanon after reports have stated that an Israeli airstrike hit a residential building in the city of Tyre. Now, according to local reports, the strike targeted a building in the coastal city, adding to concerns over continued escalation and civilian safety in particular, especially as hostilities still continue. Major Shah, I wanted to get a perspective with you on this because you mentioned Pakistan, and this is something that has come up because the first time a ceasefire announcement was made, the Pakistanis had reportedly told the Iranians that a ceasefire in Lebanon was a clause that was included, that the Israelis would stop striking Lebanon, they would stop striking the Hezbollah infrastructure, they would stop striking the civilian infrastructure there as well. But on the other hand, the same was not conveyed to the Americans, and J.D. Vance has come on record to state this as well. What do you then make of what is still transpiring in Lebanon? Because yes, there are numerous reports of civilian casualties, of areas, the civilian areas also being targeted.
That's a very, very intelligent question. See, the very fact is when the Islamabad talks, one were being carried out in Pakistan, that's the time when there were fresh attacks in Lebanon. And of course, Israel said that, Israel felt left out. Israel is one of the stakeholders. Pakistan does not recognize Israel. Israel felt left out. Israel started attacking Lebanon. And then Israel sees that Lebanon was never discussed in the ceasefire talks. So everyone said it's an application of ceasefire. Then J.D. Vance, as you rightly said, he backed it by saying that yes, Lebanon wasn't discussed. Much later on in Washington, in fact, Lebanon and Israel, they came to a pact, they came to a deal. If you remember in 2004, in 2024, I think it was 17th September, if I'm not mistaken, there was a deadly pager attacks in Lebanon at Hezbollah. It was an online attack, it was a web attack, where there was physical casualty. Web attack, what do we understand by web attack? We understand that your servers would be hacked, the passwords need to be changed, you couldn't access your website, right? But here, in a web attack, there was physical casualty. People lost their fingers, they lost their arms, they lost their eyes. There was physical casualty in that. So, most certainly, because Lebanon, Hezbollah is backed by Lebanon, they find their breathing space in Lebanon. And Israel is dead against, be it Hezbollah, be it Houthi, be it Hamas, which are the proxies of these nations, especially Iran for that matter. So most certainly right now there's an agreement, yes, but if US and Iran, they abrogate the ceasefire, same thing will be applicable over here. Then Israel will bombard Lebanon once again, and then Hezbollah will once again come into action. So that's why, as I said earlier, that there is a risk of a global war, because now the proxies will set in, and when the proxies set in, of course, it's not going to be direct involvement of Iran. Iran already, the IRGC has split themselves there in 31 districts. They have decentralized it. So that's why they take hardly any time to react. Straight away, they react. Straight away, so when the proxies come into play, it's going to be very, very deadly thereafter. Yes.
Absolutely. I'd like to thank you, sir, for taking out time and, of course, sharing your perspective with us on NewsX. On that note, viewers, we're tracking some other very crucial updates, this time with regards to the oil prices. Now, the oil prices have gained roughly 2% during early trading following reports of fresh US airstrikes on an Iranian military site. Brent crude futures has advanced